Hello class 8. Let us move on with the lesson Rise of Regional Kingdoms. Previously I have told you that how the British had got the political and the economic rights on the province of Bengal. Now, let us move with that. How did the Farman of Farrukhshire or the permission to trade in Bengal affected the political situation of Bengal? Okay. So, first of all, we will have to know about the first independent Nawab of Bengal was Murshid Quli Khan, and after him till Nawab Alivardi Khan, the British or the other European powers, they were quite restricted because these Nawabs, they ruled with very firm hand and they did not allow the Europeans and the British officials to misuse the duty-free trade granted by Farrukhshire's Farman. Now, during the rule of Alivardi Khan, there were attacks, frequent attacks of the Maratha Burghese. Now, who were these Burghese? These Burghese were the army created by Maratha ruler Shivaji in order to collect the taxes from the adjoining areas. Shivaji had created this army called Burghese. Now these Burghese, they started to attack the province, the other provinces in order to get wealth and food crops. So the Maratha Burghese, they continuously attacked the Bengal province. They plundered, they killed, they burned the houses of the villagers. So there were frequent attacks and chaos, which was brought under control by Nawab Alivardi Khan. Nawab Alivardi Khan had he ruled with firm hand and he brought about the prosperity and stability in Bengal. Now, after his death in 1756, his favorite grandson Siraj-ud-Daulah had ascended the throne as the next Nawab, and there started the long drawn conflict, a tussle or enmity between the Nawab of Bengal Siraj-ud-Daulah and the British East India Company. Now, in Murshidabad, which was the headquarters of the Nawab of Bengal, there was a banker known as Jagat Seth. Now, Jagat Seth is a title. It was a title given by the Mughal emperor to the richest, most merchant of Murshidabad. Now, actually, this person's real name was Fateh Chand, and he had come from Marwar in Rajasthan. He had taken the blessings of his Jain guru or Tirthankar and had come to Bengal for doing business, and he was very rich, and so the Mughal emperor, he used to, during that time, remember, there were no banks, and if the emperors or the rulers or the landlords, they needed money to borrow, they used to borrow them from the local merchants, and the Jagat Seth or Fateh Chand happened to be the richest, most merchant of Murshidabad. That is why the Mughal emperor had given him this title, Jagat Seth, which means banker of the world. Now he was very much influential and will play a vital role in overthrow of Siraj-ud-Daulah with Robert Clive, the English general. Now let us learn about the reasons behind the conflict or the enmity between Siraj-ud-Daulah and the British East India Company. Now, the first of all, when Siraj-ud-Daulah ascended the throne, he was not presented with gifts from the British East India Company. That means the British East India Company did not send any representative to acknowledge Siraj-ud-Daulah as the next Nawab of Bengal. Now, this considered to be as an insult to Siraj-ud-Daulah and his Nawabship. And Siraj-ud-Daulah was not at all happy that the British East India Company had not sent any representative during his coronation. Next, the British East India Company officials, they started to misuse. They were misusing previously also, but the other Nawabs, they kept a firm hand on this misuse of duty-free trade or dastak. So, after Nawab Alivardi Khan's death, the British East India Company officials openly started to misuse the duty-free trade or dastak to gain their personal profits. And it happened that the Nawab was losing the revenue, and the local merchants were also losing their business because they had to pay the tax for doing trade, and with the help of dastak, the British merchants and officials, they were exempted, they were free from paying any tax. So obviously the local merchants or the Indian merchants, they were angry, they were not happy, and they complained to Nawab, and Nawab Siraj-ud-Daulah had observed that the local merchants, they were unhappy because they were paying the tax and the British were not paying the tax, and the Nawab was losing the money. So he ordered the British East India Company to stop the misuse of its officials, misuse of dastak of his officials, but the company did not listen. So Siraj-ud-Daulah ultimately made the trade free for everybody. He said to the local merchants that okay, you also do not pay the tax. So that way the Nawab was facing a lot of loss, both from the British merchants as well as from the Indian merchants, because he was not getting any income from the trade and commerce. Now, next reason for conflict was that there was the Diwan or the official of Nawab in Dhaka known as Rai Durlabh, and his son Krishna Das was accused of some kind of treachery. That means he had made some mistakes in the calculation of the revenue, or he had given some fraud calculation in the revenue and taken the money for himself. And when Siraj-ud-Daulah asked for his arrest, he went and took shelter at the company Kothi in Falta. And Siraj-ud-Daulah repeatedly asked the company to hand Krishnadas over for the trial and punishment. But the British East India Company did not listen to Siraj-ud-Daulah's request. Next, both the French East India Company and the British East India Company, they were having some trouble in southern part of our country. Both of them were trying to get their foothold in the southern part, and they were engaged in the Carnatic War, as well as they were engaged in war in Europe also, the French and the British. And both had started building the forts in Bengal. Now Nawab Siraj-ud-Dawla asked both the French and the British East India Company to stop the constructions of the fort, but the British East India Company did not listen to his request or order, and the French company immediately stopped their work. So Siraj-ud-Dawla had to send the army to stop and force the British East India Company to stop the construction of the fort. Next, what happened? Siraj-ud-Dawla, because he was not at all happy, he was angry over the British company, he attacked the city of Calcutta, which was the trading center of the British East India Company. And he defeated the British soldiers over here and occupied the Fort William. And it is said that Siraj-ud-Dawla had put at least 146 European or British men and women to a very he locked them into a very small room with no windows and only one door. And these 146 people, they had died of suffocation. But it was a false allegation. It was a false blame, because the historians or the scholars, they say that during that time there were not so many European civilians living in Calcutta. Maybe there were 60 to 70 people, and also 146 people, what measurement they had given of that room could not be fit into together. So it was a false allegation blamed on Siraj-ud-Dawla by the British officials or historians. So that was a stigma on Siraj, which was not at all true. Now all these, besides what happened, Siraj-ud-Dawla had occupied the city of Calcutta and renamed it as Alinagar after his grandfather Alivardi Khan. Now the British had sent the reinforcement from the southern part of our country, and Robert Clive and Admiral Watson, they had come with the reinforcements, and they had defeated the Nawab's army and then recaptured the city of Calcutta. They forced Siraj-ud-Dawla to sign the Treaty of Alinagar, which enabled the British company to build the forts and to carry on with the duty-free trade. So Siraj-ud-Dawla was not happy. Robert Clive was also getting agitated. Also, Robert Clive was very ambitious and wanted to make the British very strong in this area. So he started to conspire or plot against Siraj-ud-Dawla and Siraj-ud-Dawla's enemies in his court. So these enemies included his family members as well as Fateh Chand or this one Jagat Seth and Umi Chand, another merchant, Rai Durlab, etc. along with Mir Jafar, whom they have the British had promised to make the next Nawab if he helped them in overthrowing Siraj-ud-Dawla. Next day we are going to learn about the battle between Siraj-ud-Dawla and the British East India Company and its effects.